There are things to do in New Orleans all the time. Day and night. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Any day is party time for tourists in New Orleans. New Orleans is hopping. 12 months a year, 7 days a week, and 24 hours a day. New Orleans is in the state of Louisiana. It is bordered by Texas, Arkansas, and Mississippi. The Gulf of Mexico lies to the south. New Orleans was founded by Jean-Baptiste Le Moyne in 1717. The French influence in New Orleans is still strong. Let's start our tour of New Orleans in the center of the action, the French Quarter.
If you walk through the French Quarter, you'll notice most of the exterior of the buildings here would have more French and Spanish designs than anything. The Vieux Carré, which is the French Quarter, is really the heartthrob of the city of New Orleans. The tourists, as well as the local people, on Saturdays and Sundays, will come down and play tourists because this is basically where it's happened. Something bound to be happening in the French Quarter. All the good culture about the city of New Orleans and the history about the city of New Orleans you will find here in the Vieux Carré.
New Orleans is built below sea level. The Mississippi River runs along the southern edge of the city, and Lake Pontchartrain forms the northern edge. There are many ships and riverboats that go up and down the Mississippi River. We'll walk through Washington Artillery Park, past the Riverfront streetcar stop, toward Jackson Square. Here's another way to see Jackson Square, by carriage. But let's walk. The weather is good today. In the early morning, the smell of baking fills the air. While the residents of the French Quarter get ready for work, the restaurants, bars, and jazz clubs clean up from last night's parties. New Orleans is famous for its beignets, small pastries, and strong coffee. Here, the French influence is obvious. This is St. Louis Cathedral, the oldest cathedral in the United States. The garden behind the cathedral is called St. Anthony's Garden. It is usually peaceful here in the garden. This is Royal Street, one of the main shopping streets in the French Quarter. Be sure to look up, too. Many buildings in the French Quarter have beautiful iron railings. This is Preservation Hall, one of the most famous music halls in the United States. No food or drinks are served here, so if you come back to hear some music, make sure you bring your own refreshments. This is the old Ursuline Convent, the only remaining example of French Creole architecture. The school inside the convent was the first one in the United States to accept black and Indian children. Lafayette Cemetery is in the heart of the Garden District. A slow walk will show some of the history of New Orleans. Let's take a side trip to the bayou.
Now you take a look at these lands, folks. Can't drive on them, can't hardly walk on them, can't plant anything in it. Looks kind of useless, doesn't it? But the Perez family makes more money on these lands, folks, than most of the fertile fields in California.
Many people see the swamps by airboat.